How to set up your new MacBook. This video is a step-by-step process for setting up a new MacBook. If you've just purchased a Mac, if you're new to using a Mac, then this video is for you. So once you start it up, it will usually open. This is its loading screen where it will just say hello to you in every language possible, and it will ask you to continue. So I'm going to click on continue. Then the first thing, it opens up to a language section. Click the language that you would like to use for this and click on next. Do note that you can add multiple languages, but at the starting stage you can add only one, and there comes an option to add more languages later. Select the country or the region that you are setting this up in. Now transfer your data to this Mac. In case you are transferring your data from an existing MacBook or an existing Windows PC onto this Mac, then there are multiple ways to do that. But if this is a blank slate and if it's a fresh Mac and you do not want to transfer any data, then you can just click set up as new. If you would like a video on how to transfer your data, do drop a comment. I'd be happy to make that video. So once you reach this section, it will show you the preferred language that you have chosen as English. Now, in case you want to add more languages, you can click on customize settings, and you see a plus icon over here. You can click on that and you can choose to add another language. So I would like to add, there is Korean. I would like to add Korean as a language. I would also like to add Hindi as a language. And so now I have added 3 languages over here. Next, you have input sources. There will be, if you have added multiple languages, then you will have multiple input sources. Input source basically means the keyboard that you are using for the language that you have set up. So you can have an English keyboard, you can have a Korean keyboard. For Hindi, you can also have transliteration. Dictation. Dictation is voice commands, as in if you would wish to speak to the Mac, especially if you're going to activate Siri, then you can add more languages into this. So I would recommend that if you are using multiple languages in the keyboard, in typing, that you should also add it over here for the audio. And let's say continue. Next comes accessibility. These are some really fun settings that a MacBook has, though they are not necessarily important. You don't need to set this up as you are if you're setting it up for the first time. Though I have made another video on it, do check it out. I would say the only setting from here that is really that would matter to users lately is if you click on cognitive, you can choose the appearance that you want. If you want it to be light, or if you want it to be dark, or auto. So auto means if you are in an environment where there is light, it will be bright. If the environment is dark, it will automatically adjust to it being dark. I usually prefer the dark mode, so I will switch to the dark mode. Then speak selection. Again, just a really cool setting on Mac, but you don't need this right now, so you can just click continue. Typing feedback, again, not a necessary setting. You can just click continue. So I have set up one thing in cognitive. The rest are also just accessibilities. I wouldn't just call them fun settings. They are also really helpful in terms of accessibility. Then you can click continue and then select the Wi-Fi that you would like to connect to. Once you have connected to the Wi-Fi, data and privacy, you can just click continue over here. Now creating a Mac account. So do note that the first Mac account that you create will be an administrative account. So my preference is always to create one admin account and then have other standard accounts that you use on a daily basis, but to keep a separate admin account. So the name that is of your account will also be the name of the home folder in your Mac. So this little checkbox is actually a very important thing. You can either, while setting it up the first time, you can either choose to set up your Apple account, or you can choose to do this process without setting up your Apple account. If you do choose to set it up with your Apple account, then you have the option that if you ever forget your Mac password, you will be able to reset it by resetting your Apple account password. But if you do not have your Mac account and your Apple ID linked, then you are bound to just the password of this MacBook. So again, I would highly recommend setting up an Apple account, because you would need it to use, for example, to use the App Store, and download different apps and make purchases. So over here, I am going to keep this ticked. So I am going to link my Apple account along with my MacBook account. I'm going to click continue. Okay, so now you have reached the screen to sign into your Apple account. If you have an existing one, you can enter that, or you can create a new account. It's free. I would highly recommend that you create an Apple account. Now, if you are an existing Apple user, as in if you have an existing Apple account which is logged into another Apple device, then once you are logging in over here, it will ask you to verify with the code that has been sent to the device which has your Apple account logged in. Yes, so a screen like this will appear on the other device where you have the Apple ID logged in. Over here, I just have to click allow. Once it allows, it will show me a verification code over here, which I have to enter over here. Great, now it is setting up my Apple ID and linking it to my MacBook. The iCloud keychain is sort of an application which stores all the passwords that you usually use on Apple. The information is encrypted and it is not read by Apple. So if you would like to set it up, you can, though I'm not going to do it right now. So I'm going to say set it up later and continue. It is similar to passkeys. Make this your new Mac. So now here is where you can decide what settings you want on and what settings you want off. So location services, I would recommend to keep your location services on, mainly because this helps you with using the feature of Find My Mac. While using Find My Mac, in case you lose your MacBook, you will be able to find it elsewhere. You will be able to locate it if your location services are on. Device analytics, it just sends reports to Apple about in case there's any problems. It does not share any of your personal data. But app analytics is similar. Siri, screen time of your own. Let's go to customize settings, enable, continue. Analytics, I would recommend to share this data. It just helps them make the OS better, to be honest. Screen time, if you would like weekly reports on your screen time, then sure, do set it up. At this stage, I do not think it's necessary, so I'm going to skip it. Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence is Apple's AI, which is just comes with a bunch of fun tools, to be honest, which again, you can set it up later if you require. Siri, I would recommend that you enable Siri because it just helps you get things done faster. The Touch ID is also actually one of the most important things. So you can choose to log in either by putting in a password, or you can enable Touch ID, which is basically like a fingerprint lock for your MacBook. So you can continue. The Touch ID is this button that you can see. The lock button is this button over here. So I am just going to, you do not have to press it. You just have to keep different parts of your finger until it completely gets it. And then you say continue, and that is ready. Apple Pay, again, I do not need to set this up right now. I'm going to choose dark mode and say continue. So this is an important setting. If you are very picky about the Mac OS that you want to use, and you generally do not wish to, in case there's a new update and you want to have the choice to choose to upgrade or not, then I would say you have to click on only download automatically, which means that if there is a new Mac OS version that is released, it will download it, but it will not automatically install it. If you just click continue over here, it will download and automatically install whichever new updates come in. So I am of the preference to pick only to download it automatically, because depending on what Mac you are using, but if it's an older Mac, then the newer updates do not always perform well on an older Mac. And that's it, we have set it up. So